Hi, I'm Zachary Farnell. Thank you very much for joining me for another edition of your Timberlane Weather Update. It's the Halloween edition of your Timberlane Weather Update, and I cannot remember, in recent memory at least, a better Halloween for trick-or-treating than this one this year. Highs across the district today reached into the 80-degree range, and if you didn't get to 80, you were sitting at about 75. Towards the coast, those temperatures are looking even nicer, down towards the low 70s with a nice sea breeze. Generally, the skies have been clear, and we will continue to see this warm pattern into tomorrow, even though it does begin to drop off as we get towards the weekend. I mentioned that heat today. It wasn't quite here fully yesterday. The highs yesterday across much of the Northeast were into those 70s and into those 80s that we were looking for. You can see the heat across much of the eastern United States fully built in, but for us, our last holdout was the eastern part of New England, just under those 50s and 60s yesterday. Overnight, though, the heat fully moved through, and we really didn't see a drop. In fact, some areas saw their high temperature when you should have seen your low. Overnight, those temperatures actually rose in parts of Maine. Not for us, we got down into the 50s as opposed to the 60s during the day, but it was a big time warm up for the low temperatures compared to Tuesday night, and today the heat fully into this area. Now you can see all the way up into Canada through Maine, those temperatures soaring into the 70s, some 80-degree marks in there as well. But out west, we see the exact polar opposite of what we've been experiencing. Those cold temperatures are moving into this area over the next couple of days, and you can kind of see the division between the west and the east associated with a cold front we'll get into in just a minute. On the satellite map, you can see this low pressure system associated with that cold front I was mentioning just a second ago. That is what's eventually going to cool us down as we get towards eventually Saturday, but you're looking at it here spinning across much of the Great Lakes region. It has funneled the warmth into the eastern part of the United States. As we get to Friday now on our fronts map, you can see it still exists in towards the northern part of the country, hanging just north of New England and New York. At this point, tomorrow, we see this thing stay around, and even though it is eventually going to pass through our area, we have to first get through this cold front that's going to descend across the eastern United States. You can see along that cold front, there's some showers, mainly some more consistent rain in towards the south, but where we are, we just barely miss out on the overcast and showers. I would not be surprised if we get a little bit of rain, but I wouldn't put it in the expected forecast for now. Again, this cold front on Friday in the area. On Saturday, it's pushed through, and you can see it fully get taken over by a high pressure system, now a much colder air system than what we saw previously, including today. What we're sitting in right now will be pushed all the way back down south into Florida, and for us, we won't be dealing with outrageously cold temperatures, but a lot closer to the normal that we'd see around this time of the year. Expect highs on Saturday just about into the 50s, and maybe down towards New York, you get closer to the 60s. But on Sunday, we again see this high pressure system sticking around, and although we begin to see a very, very large rain system across the central part of the country, it is not expected to impact us until Monday and Tuesday, where we can expect to see a little bit of a warm-up. Before we get to your election day forecast, we need to get past your Halloween forecast and into this weekend. So I mentioned tomorrow, Friday, temperature's still going to be pretty nice and warm, 76, partly cloudy. However, over the weekend, you see those temperatures absolutely drop off, about a 25-degree difference between Friday and Saturday, down into those about 50 to 55-degree range, and overnight, you can expect occasional frost, not super widespread, but certainly a chance that we do have a frost in the morning. On Saturday and Sunday, not as expected on Monday, as we begin to see, again, that system that I briefly talked about moving through the central part of the country on Sunday. It'll get to us by Monday, bringing some rain showers, likely overcast if you don't get a lot of rain either way. But right behind it, it will bring in a warm front that will once again shoot our temperatures back up into the 70s for your election day on Tuesday. Getting past your election results and into the mid and late next week, you will see the temperatures fall off from that high as well. Wednesday, again, you're still seeing those 70-degree temperatures, likely potentially reaching into those mid to upper 70s, just like we saw today. However, the system once again blasts through with another cold front, much like the one we're seeing right now and into tomorrow. And you begin to see a clearing pattern Thursday, Friday, Saturday next week, with the temperatures consistently cooling down about a degree a day overall. So once again, we can expect to see some of those temperatures kind of roller coaster up and down. And really, that's not unusual for New England this time of the year. It is October, it is fall, and we do live in New England, of course. We're getting closer and closer to nor'easter season, so I expect a wild season towards the winter months. Hopefully, we will get a little bit more snow than what we've been seeing over the last couple years, but if this warm of a Halloween has anything to say about it, the warm weather is not going away without a fight. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Zachary Farnell, signing off.